CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Pittsburghers love this place, and I've actually never been, so it's definitely on my list to check out. There's history, there's artifacts like Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket, handwritten lyrics from the Beatles, Taylor Swift's piano, and right now they've also got a new exhibit on Saturday Night Live and their many talented musical guests. So you can see stuff from their skits and performances, and apparently it's the only place you can see SNL's entire performance archive. Check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to learn more about the music that connects us all. For more information, go to rockhall.com/exhibitions/SNL-50-years-music. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh. If it feels like the grossest summer in city history, you are not wrong, and that could affect air quality in the Mon Valley after the explosion in Clairton. Incoming college freshmen are going to be moving in next week, and a lot of them are going to find themselves in hotels instead of dorms. God help the cleaning staffs there. And we're talking about a bunch of wins for Pittsburgh this week, like an impromptu Sheetz concert, the return of a beloved trolley, and a very famous chef noshing Mediterranean food next to our own Mallory Falk. I'm here with Mal talking about some of the biggest stories of the week. It's Friday, August 15th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Hi, Mallory. We are together again this week, starting once more with some updates about the explosion over in Clairton.
Yes, reminder, there was an explosion at the U.S. steel plant there earlier this week. So we now know that 2 people died in that blast. As of this recording, 5 are still in the hospital and 5 others were treated for minor injuries and are now back home. The people in the hospital were in critical but stable condition as of earlier this week. So really hoping that all of them make full recoveries and get back home soon. We still don't know exactly what caused the explosion, and that investigation is going to take a while. Executives at U.S. Steel say they weren't aware of any safety concerns leading up to the incident on Monday.
Yeah, I saw some steel market analysts point out that just talking about what this could do to steel production and facility and prices and stuff like that, and that the market is still way over flooded. We just globally make way more steel than anybody needs. And some of that is tied up into tariff conversations with the Trump administration. But even with a big incident like this, it probably won't affect the market that much.
I mean, and they got back up and running
really
so
quickly.
Fast.
Yeah. They shut down the 2 batteries that were affected. There's 10 on site. And initially they had shut down the 2 that were nearest it, but those are back online now too. I think it's worth stepping back though. The facility itself has just been a huge polluter for years. Had a handful of safety incidents over that time. Nothing on this scale, but still enough to send a few folks to the hospital here and there.
Including a battery in February of this year, so not that long ago.
Yeah, and they have been fined a lot. You might remember a Christmas Eve fire, for example, that, resulted in lawsuits. But someone was pointing out that Nippon, which just purchased them, it went through the summer, prizes its reputation for worker safety and environmental protection. It's one of their central tenets as a company, and that they will not tolerate stuff like this. Accidents on the scale are just not something that they will ever be okay with, in the way that it seems like maybe U.S. Steel has been over the years. I've seen at least one story suggest that Nippon could replace the entire facility. Their pockets are big enough if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone's kind of been wondering where they've pledged billions of dollars to upgrade facilities, and people have wondered where that money is going to flow. I imagine now that the Mon Valley and this specific facility are going to be prioritized.
I mean, hope so. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. And so, of course, when something like this happens, there are questions about air quality, what people in the surrounding area are breathing in. Air quality monitors in the Mon Valley are still reading okay right now, but some of the pollutants can't be tested in real time. So, for example, benzene, which is harmful to your health, it can take weeks for the recordings of those levels to show up. So, air samples taken this week, they might not actually show the full picture for a while of whether or not the air quality was affected.
Yeah, and part of the question around these pollutants and, what happened this week and what might still be lingering also has to do with our weather. So the explosion happened while we were in the middle of our latest heat wave. I'm sure everyone listening to this was experiencing it too. No rain for weeks, temperatures above 90. Watching the people on television, like the day of the explosion, it was kind of brutal. Like everyone was just pouring sweat in addition to dealing with this like real-time crisis, right? And I guess that kind of heat can also do things to these chemicals. I read up on it, Mallory, but I'm going to be honest, like most of it was so far over my head. But the gist was like, it does things that can make it worse.
Yeah.
So we have to keep testing.
Extreme heat can't be good in any setting or scenario, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, we got to keep testing. We got to keep taking precautions.
Speaking of the heat here, it did finally rain a little bit this week. I, as a Pittsburgher, never imagined praying for rain, pleading for rain, but this is the situation we're in now.
I mean, I feel like, have you seen those memes about like the different seasons in different parts of the world? Like there's always like fall spring and like hell's front porch and like things like that on those. I feel like we're approaching a place where we need like a dead grass season, like a dead lawn season. Because like it's just nothing happens, I feel like, for the last few years in August.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's felt that way for a few years now, this year really has been particularly bad. I saw somewhere that the last time we had a dry spell like this at the beginning of August was in 1887.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels gross. I mean, and if it feels like it's been hotter or muggier than ever this summer, turns out that is accurate. Public Source is doing the important work out here. They report that we have had higher than average temperatures in June and in July, but also way higher humidity and a whole bunch of what are called like these pulse storms that drench one spot in the city and then like leave your neighbor's yard like totally dry. All the plants are like hurting. It's so weird how like, I mean, even on our team, we talk about it like, oh, it's pouring here, I need to wait to record. But like over at your house, Mallory, it's fine.
Even within my neighborhood, because my husband will be out walking the dog and text me like, remember to shut all the windows so our house doesn't get poured on and there's no rain I can see. It's not an issue. And he's only a few blocks away.
Yeah. Public Source reports it's been a record-breaking year. So the hottest and the most humid in over 90 years. But we could, this is not good news, break that streak again by next year. And the one after that and the one after that. This reminds me of that awful thing you told me, Mallory, a few weeks ago about like it's
every summer is the coolest one you'll ever experience for the rest of your life.
It's horrible. Public Source quotes this one person, Kelly Sanks, who's the climate science lead at the Center for Climate Integrity, that it'll, quote, just keep spiraling until we get to these temperatures that humans really aren't built to handle, end quote. Cool.
I mean, my last few years living in El Paso, Texas, I feel like that's already been reached there. You can't be outdoors as a human on some of the summer days there. It's really scary and upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, just like a few travel like experiences out to like Palm Springs, for example. We once went in July and it was 125 degrees outside. I did not know that was possible. Like I never felt anything like that before.
Isn't Palm Springs where people only emerge in the evening? Like once the sun goes down, people go out and about to do like their daily errands.
There were people outside, but like it was the strangest experience. Like I could feel my skin like trying to sizzle if I was outside for too long. Like it was so weird.
Well, and if all of this is terrifying you, we have a little bit more terrifying news to share related to our budget situation. Someone estimated that Pittsburgh needs to spend about $520 million by 2040 or $31 million a year to adapt to our changing climate and environment, particularly our flooding risks, because we are just not equipped to handle this kind of stormwater. We need a ton of drainage upgrades. People who didn't need air conditioners before, who could just get away with like letting a cool breeze in through an open window, are going to need air conditioning now.
Yeah. And I mean, just to that flood mitigation point, too, I saw there were 29 flash flood warnings issued in our region, like just in July. And there was one last year, one in July of 2024. Like that's just like such a wild swing.
Wow.
And so much water. I think I've talked about this before, but like even in my own family, like like trying to deal with that amount of water coming into your house like all at once, like it's terrifying to like see what it's, I don't know, maybe we'll have to do something about that like on the show. Would love to hear everyone's horror stories as it relates to flooding in your Pittsburgh houses, because like it is a real thing we're all going to have to think about.
Horror stories, but also hacks for dealing with it. I'm trying to think of how to not just sit in the existential dread that's been building inside me for this entire segment. So if you've got hacks, please share them with us.
Yes, call our flooding hotline at 412-212-8893. We would love to hear stuff you're dealing with, but also solutions that you have found or are trying out. Fill us with hope, please.
Well, to help bring us out of this dread spiral, let's move on to trivia, work our brains in a different way. So this week's trivia question, as always, is provided by our quizmaster, Kevin Gavin. This one is about our hockey arena, PPG Paints. It opened 15 years ago this month. It was, of course, originally called Consol Energy Center back then. It's not just for hockey. There's also musical performances.
Cirque du Soleil. I always love seeing those there.
Monster truck shows as well. But
would love to see you at a monster truck show, Mallory.
Yeah, I can't say I've personally attended. I'm just aware that is a space.
That is a thing that exists.
Event happens. But what was the very first event that was held there back in 2010?
I am like 98% sure I know the answer to this question. So maybe we should reveal it after the break. Today's show is brought to you by Overlook Maps. If you need an easier way to remember that amazing little cafe you found last summer or a perfect hiking spot that your friend told you about, I have good news for you. With Overlook Maps, special places never get lost again. You can create personal lists of places you've been or want to go. Build your must-visit list for your next vacation, your favorite restaurants for nights out, or your getaway ideas when you need to escape. I have personally been DIYing this exact thing since I was in college using Google Maps, and y'all, that is not what Google is best at. My lists are kind of a mess, completely dependent on the notes I did or did not remember to write down at the time, and until now, it was my only way to record all the cool things I had done or wanted to do. I am so excited because Overlook Maps has solved for something I have wanted in my life for years. It's a way to remember, to categorize, to find the best spots for me and my crew, because they have so many curated layers that you can check out, from Michelin guides to the New York Times and eater recommendations. You can even make your own private lists, keep your own secrets, or share with friends and collaborate about the places that you are most excited to check out as a group. You can even put in food preferences, and Overlook Maps will make the recommendations. And they have a routing feature that will tell you where you can eat in the direction that you are already headed. I have been begging the universe for this thing for so long, and Overlook Maps has delivered. Icing on the cake, there are no ads. No one's selling your data to advertisers, just amazing spaces and places organized exactly how you want them. Overlook Maps. Collect, organize, and share the places that matter to you. Download it for free at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Pittsburgh to see some of our favorite spots on a map and in your pocket. Your places, your way.
Got any fun trips coming up? One thing you probably haven't put on your packing list is learning the language. But with Babbel, you can start talking in just a few weeks. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel. And I also just persuaded my friend who's going to France this fall to learn French with Babbel, but that is another story. Babbel's extremely fun and intuitive. It's like having a private tutor in your pocket. Handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel's lessons are voiced by real native speakers and built with science-backed cognitive tools and interactive features to fit any learning style. I love a lot of the different Babbel features. The Babbel games for sentence building, Babbel speech recognition, which helps me get the pronunciation right. And now I'm really into Babbel's word of the day, which greets me on the homepage of the app. Every day, a new word revealed like a little surprise, with a sentence to help contextualize it. It's like a daily treat for me. Studies from Yale, Michigan State, and other leading universities continue to prove that Babbel works. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Look, I want you to learn another language. So I'm teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast. spelled babbel.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
All right, Megan, you feel pretty confident. What was the very first event held at the Consol Energy Center, now known as PPG Paints Arena?
I believe it was a 2-day concert, not a hockey game, and it was a Beatles legend, Paul McCartney.
You are correct.
This is actually credit to Kevin Gavin, who I had told me a story about this a long time ago. So I'm glad he's making a trivia question out of this now.
And it's a little bit of an event preview because Paul McCartney is returning to the arena this November. But tickets back then would cost you up to $250. If you want to go to his show this year, you could be spending up to $5,310.
What? No way. The ticket prices, like the market is out of control. That is just like not okay.
So congrats to anybody who caught him back in 2010. You saved yourself thousands of dollars.
Oh my God. I hate it. Okay, we got to move on to something that's slightly less depressing.
Right. This was supposed to be our fun diversion.
Actually, before we move on, we do need y'all's help a little bit. So first, we are up for Best Podcast in City Paper's annual Best of Pittsburgh competition. We are very honored. You can vote for us every day through August 22nd. We're in the People and Places category, Best Podcast. You do have to give them an email address, but you can opt out if receiving emails bothers you. They are great, though, if you want to get their City Pigeon newsletter. Again, please vote for CityCast Pittsburgh for Best Podcast. We really want to win.
We'll have the link in our show notes so that it is super simple to vote for us. And we will also have a link to our annual listener survey. This is the other way that you can help us out. It is very quick. It's painless. You can take it at citycast.fm/survey. It really helps us and people who might want to be part of our network. And as a bonus, if you fill it out, you will be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card. So, if you have your eyes on that Paul McCartney concert later this year, this could go toward that. For example, you could also win some CityCast Pittsburgh swag. If you are a superstar and you took this survey last year, we would love for you to take it again. We can't use last year's data anymore. It will really, really help us to take it. So again, that is citycast.fm/survey.
Okay, so moving on, next week is welcome/move-in week for college students. So if you are a person who only occasionally needs to be in Oakland, if you've got a favorite restaurant down there, maybe check it out this weekend and avoid some of that crazy student traffic. Actually, I would say the same for the South Side. It's about to be overrun by the youngins.
Yeah, classes don't start for a little while, but students need time to get their stuff together, to get moved in. And some of them are actually going to be moving into hotel rooms. So enrollment is up at Pitt and Point Park. Both of these schools enrolled more students than they can house. So some Pitt students are going to be assigned to live at the Hampton Inn in Oakland, and some Point Park students are going to be in the Wyndham Grand Hotel downtown.
I mean, on its face, this sounds so great. Like, if I were a college student, and here's the caveat, and I don't have to incur additional debt for this. Like, it's just, I'm paying the same dorm rate. This sounds amazing to me because then you don't have to clean up after yourself. I bet the beds are better. You get like your own linens. You don't have to deal with any of that. Like, oh, this just sounds like so cozy.
Well, that's interesting. I actually didn't think about that. Like if their rooms will be cleaned by hotel cleaning staff, or if like maybe there's going to be a couple floors that are just for students and they're responsible for taking care of their own stuff. I'm really curious now.
I can't imagine that's the case. If nothing else, like when these students move out, like this is still property of the Wyndham. Like they can't let their stuff just like get knocked around and deteriorate. The cleaning staff also serves an important purpose in like checking up on their stuff, right? Like if something's being damaged, or like you can tell that maybe you have a problem person, like they'll have a talking to you ahead of time. I've got to imagine they're doing checks at least from time to time, even if they're not doing like daily cleaning.
That's true. You can't just trust an 18-year-old to leave the room and to leave everything in nice condition through the year.
That said, I also hope some of these parents are having conversations with their students about like, you cannot order room service every day. Like you can't be down there like getting like Belgian waffles sent up to the room. Like this is an opportunity for like a good convo about like fiscal priorities.
Responsibility,
yes.
Yeah. But Megan, your caveat about like the dorm rates is an important one because it seems, at least from the reporting I've read, like this is a great deal for students at Point Park. They are going to be at the Wyndham for the same rate as their dorm. They're all going to get queen beds in these
That's
rooms.
incredible.
Which, when I think about my tiny little twin, I'm extremely
Extra long
envious.
twin. Yeah.
And they're also only going to be like a 6-minute walk away from campus, so not super far. It's a different story at Pitt. The rooms at the Hampton Inn are generally going to be more expensive than housing on campus. I saw a WPXI report that a room at the Hampton Inn would cost about $1,500 more per year than a room with the same layout in Litchfield. Obviously, the room at the Hampton Inn is going to be nicer than the one in Litchfield Towers, which is where like a lot of freshmen live. Even if it's the same layout. I haven't been in Litchfield Towers. I can't say that with any authority, but I just have to assume.
I have been in Litchfield Towers, and they could use some upgrades. Granted, I haven't been over there in a minute, but like at least back in the day, even then, they could have used some upgrades. That's such garbage, though, to like let students sign up for student housing, take that money, and then be like, just kidding. We're actually going to put you in a hotel. Give us more. Give us more money.
Right. That's the thing, because as far as I can tell from reporting, students were just like assigned to these rooms. It's not like students got a choice of, are you willing to spend a little more to be somewhere a little nicer? So, Pitt tuition keeps going up. If you are a student who's trying to spend as little as possible when college is already so expensive, you probably want the cheapest option. Your priority is not being, I was going to say put up in a hotel room, but you're not really being put up. This is coming out of your own pocket.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how Pitt does this, but like my own undergraduate experience, like you were required for any of your scholarships to stay in a dorm or on campus property for your first year. So like, the idea is like, oh, well, if you don't like it, go live somewhere else or stay with your parents. If you're from out of state or out of the region, you don't have that option. If you don't have the like extra finances to cover this, you don't have that option.
Yeah. And then, salt in the wound, this hotel is also like a 15-20-minute walk from campus.
Oh, that's so rude.
And actually, like, this isn't the first time this has happened. Apparently, Pitt had to put overflow students in hotels back in 2020 and 2021 as well. This is sort of a repeat issue for them, I guess.
I'm so mad on their behalf. It's just way past my lived experience, but I'm so mad for them.
I was reading some reporting comparing colleges to airlines where you're like you really want that full flight, that full dorm. And so it's to schools' advantages to overbook housing instead of underbooking it because the margins are tight. You don't want to lose money on empty rooms.
Are the margins tight, Pitt? Are they tight with what you pay for your chancellor and what you're spending and all that tuition money you're bringing in? Are the margins tight?
Listen, as the spouse of a Pitt employee, I obviously want them to have more money that can go towards salaries, but I don't want that to come at the expense of incoming freshmen. But anyway, best of luck to all of these students. If you're coming to Pittsburgh for the first time, I really hope you enjoy our city regardless of where you end up being housed.
Yeah. A little more school news. If you've got school-aged kids, so like K through 12, or any, there are any in your life, there are a bunch of back-to-school events coming up where they're going to be giving away backpacks, school supplies. They're even doing free haircuts some places, so you can have a nice new do before you go back to school. Just a few here, back-to-school bash at the Millvale Community Library is going to be on Sunday. They're also looking for donations still. So if you're hearing this and you want to help, they're looking for new school supplies, gently worn clothing, anything like that. And that'll help fuel this event. And then coming up on Monday, Pittsburgh Public is doing a backpack drive where families can go to Acrisure Stadium, that's kind of a fun experience for kids anyway, but pick up a free backpack with food and supplies and books. We'll put info on all of these events in our show notes. Back again with one of our favorite moments in our Friday shows. Time to shout out stuff from our CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors. We love your recommendations.
Yes. So today we've got a shout out that can actually help you plan ahead for Labor Day weekend.
Which is early this year.
Yeah. So Michelle K wants to shout out Golden Age Jazz Fest. That is from August 28th to 31st at Golden Age Beer Company in Homestead. So there will be a bunch of local jazz musicians performing there. It is all totally free. And Michelle says that in general, Golden Age has tons of live jazz performances throughout the year, including every Thursday and Sunday. And there is never a cover charge. So thank you, Michelle, for this rec.
I've been to a handful of these jazz performances, like just stumbled upon them because I was meeting friends down there and like did not know this is a thing. Their little courtyard is so cute. There's like a little window that you walk up to order. There's like twinkle lights and trees, which like is sandwiched between two historic buildings and Homestead. Like it's a vibe. It's really fun.
That sounds really great. This spot was not on my radar, so thank you to both Michelle and to you, Megan, for putting it on there. If you have a local business or nonprofit or event series, restaurant, whatever, that you want us to shout out on the podcast, you can become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. Send it to us. We'll read it on the pod. We'll put it in the newsletter. You can join today at membership.citycast.fm. That is membership.citycast.fm.
And welcome also to our newest CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor, Kristen J. So Kristen says, at a time when so many things are disappearing or struggling financially due to the current administration's decisions, quote, I want to support a group that has given me a lot of joy and hopes that they don't disappear too, end quote. Love the like slight note of menace on that one, Kristen. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. We would also hope to not disappear. Very excited to be here.
So speaking of giving people joy, because this has been a weird, kind of tragic, kind of chaotic week, we've decided to skip the Pittsburgh losses for the week and just end the show with a whole bunch of Pittsburgh wins.
Yeah, so we'll start with one that everybody can kind of see or experience depending on your commute. So we still don't know what the new Mount Washington banner is going to be, you know, like the big one if you're looking up from like, say, the Point or one of the stadiums. There was some conjecture for a minute that it was going to return to Icy Light because they had a sign up there for years and years. But I'm guessing it will not be them now because they have announced this week that they are taking over a different spot, but also on that same kind of like, I guess, downriver a little bit from it, the Duquesne Brewery clock on the south side. If you drive Boulevard of the Allies or the Parkway, you've definitely seen it. It's that enormous, until recently, bluish gray clock face that's mounted on like the current home of, I think, CrossFit Athletics, Ascend, that climbing gym. It used to be the home of Duquesne Brewing. It was like their bottling plant there.
I feel like that clock face is like one of the most iconic Pittsburgh images. I really
It was
associate
AT&T
it with
for a while. Yeah, reported to be the largest clock face in the entire United States. I'm always dubious. I'm always dubious if Pittsburgh claiming to be the biggest of anything. But I hope they're right. The ETA for installation.
Don't take this joy from us.
No, we're standing by it. Let's do it. The ETA for installation is this coming Friday. So I'm excited to see it in its full glory.
I just can't wait for all the beer o'clock, beer 30 jokes that are going to start pouring in.
Oh, Mallory, I'm so proud of you. Next up, a very famous chef apparently visited a Pittsburgh restaurant this week. So Thomas Keller was spotted at Casbah. He holds, I did not realize this, 7 Michelin stars.
Is that a record?
I don't know. It might be in the U.S. just because
we're just declaring records today. I'm going to say this. Most Michelin star awarded chef Thomas Keller.
I mean, maybe in the U.S. just because like we don't have as many Michelin guides here.
That's true.
Like Pittsburgh doesn't have one, for example. Come to Pittsburgh. But anyway, French Laundry in California, Per Se in New York, and Surf Club in Miami, I guess, are his major claims to fame. And he was at Casbah, our Mediterranean spot from Big Burrito Group, over on Sunday.
What is wild is that I was actually at Casbah also on Sunday. It was only the second time I've ever gone there, and the last time I was like 23 years old. I had no idea that he was there. I only found out when someone on our team like pulled up their Instagram and there was a shot of Keller in the kitchen with Casbah's staff, mentioned he was there Sunday. I don't know if I was there the same time as him. If I was, there was not a whole lot of fanfare, but I'm really sad that I could have been sharing space with this legend and had no idea.
I mean, you would think you would notice, right? Like if any kind of celebrity was in the room with you, if only because like, I mean, as professional as everyone always is, like this is not a criticism, but like when a celebrity is in the room, people are looking around and like noticing. And I got to imagine like the staff at Casbah would have been like looky-looing just a little bit, like around corners, maybe like watching a table a little more closely. And like, Mallory, you are an observant human. I can imagine you might have picked up on that. That's all.
Yeah. So probably
even if you don't know who the celebrity
is.
I don't know that I would recognize Thomas Keller right off the cuff, but now that I've stared at his face in this Instagram post so many times, I think I would.
Well, if you want to go be in the same space he visited, if not in the same space with him at the same time, I do highly recommend the summer salad there that I got. It's made with salt macerated peaches. It was really delightful. I wonder if he sampled some too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, like, did he eat off the regular menu? What did he get? I have so many follow-up questions. A couple other iconic Pittsburgh events are coming up and just opened their registration. I say coming up. One of them is literally like
a year from
10 months away. But an opportunity to pre-plan if that's your thing.
Yes. So the first one is Garbage Olympics. If you are not familiar, this is a competitive trash cleanup event. So neighborhoods all over Pittsburgh compete against each other to see who can pick up the most garbage. The one thing I wonder is, like, is this the one time that you are at an advantage if you live in a more like trash-strewn neighborhood in Pittsburgh? Like, if there's more trash on the ground, there's more to collect.
I mean, I feel like we're all kind of trashy, like in isolation, right? Like, especially our hills, which I know are tough to clean up this time of year because of like all the foliage and everything. But like, I feel like we all got a little trash. It just, you got to plan your cleanup accordingly.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any like sparkling clean Pittsburgh neighborhood, but anyway, it's a really fun competition, obviously for a good cause. It is happening on Sunday, September 13th, and the registration is now live. So you can go to the page and like find your neighborhood and sign up to be part of your neighborhood's team. And if your neighborhood does not yet have a team, you could start one and become the captain.
Love it. I love people signing up to be in charge of things. Also, if you need just a teeny bit of inspiration to get you started, we did a podcast with Allegheny Cleanways, which is a huge supporter of this event. They love it when people organize and clean up their own stuff. They talked all about like some of the challenges, like some Pittsburgh neighborhoods that are maybe just a teeny bit more trashy, Mallory. So some fun stuff to look out for. It was a great episode.
And then, Megan, you hinted at this next event is a while from now, but registration is officially open for the Pittsburgh Marathon. So that's happening next May. You have a lot of time to train, but if you want to be one of the first people to sign up, you can go ahead and do that right now.
And there is a financial benefit to that. I think Pittsburgh's marathon is actually like sort of expensive as marathons go, but it is cheaper the earlier you sign up. So the cheapest it will be is probably right now.
Great pro tip.
We also have a premiere date for season 2 of one of our favorite shows this year. The Pit is coming back. They have been filming, I think in California, I think soon here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, last we saw it was supposed to be the beginning of September.
But we do now have a date for when we get to see whatever it is they're shooting now. So supposed to be January 8th. That was in the Hollywood Reporter. Sounds like HBO Max has not put out an official date for itself, but that's what the executive producer said. So I'm counting on it now. January 8th. Sounds like a great way to start 2026.
And if you want to hear our team's takes on what season 1 got right and wrong about Pittsburgh, go back and check out Monday's episode where we do a deep dive into all of that.
Yep. And also our predictions for what season 2 could hold. Predictions, hopes,
emergency
I don't know.
Involving furries.
Yes, do it. Because it's supposed to be over 4th of July weekend. A quick sports update. The Steelers won their first preseason game. So both of the backup quarterbacks played. We got a glimpse of the new receivers. Team looks really weird compared to last year, I think. We did not see the primary scorer from all of last season, which was the kicker, Chris Boswell. He and our main veteran on the team, Cam Hayward, are both holding out for more money. So they did not play. I hope they get that settled because I want to see the Wizard of Oz back on the field. We would not have done anywhere near as well as we did last year without the kicker. We need that kicker.
And the next game is actually tomorrow at home against Tampa Bay. So, hit up Oakland this weekend. Do not go to the North Shore this weekend. That will be chaos.
Yes. Not the regular season kind of chaos, but preseason chaos is still its own thing.
The football news that I am much more excited about is the fact that the Trolley Museum in Washington County just unveiled a fully restored Terrible Trolley. So this was owned by the Port Authority back in the 70s. Port Authority, of course, now known as PRT, but it's always Port Authority or Pat in my heart.
In our heart.
But so yeah, in the 70s, it was painted black and gold to celebrate the Steelers' Super Bowl wins. It had been privately owned for a while. The Trolley Museum recently bought it. They have now restored it and it is on display. So I don't really watch the games, but some of the cool Pittsburgh fanfare around the teams is much more what I'm into, and I want to go check this out.
Yeah, it's worth a Google at the very least. Also, if you've ever seen the Berg bus go through downtown or because it'll pick up people and take them to regular events, they do look sort of similar actually. I wonder if the Berg bus was an homage to some extent for the Terrible Trolley. I had that thought as soon as I saw the images of the Terrible Trolley. I was like, oh, that looks like the Berg bus. That's kind of cute.
Our final win. This is a win for Sheetz in the ongoing debate about whether Sheetz or Wawa is best, because Sheetz got a point when the All-American Rejects had a surprise concert there at the Sheetz on Steubenville Pike in Robinson last Friday. And so I was at Casbah with Tom Keller, I guess. Our own Hey Pittsburgh newsletter editor, Francesca DeBecco, was at this Sheetz concert, kind of, sort of. She says she rushed over as soon as she heard about it, but there were already tons and tons of people there in line. So she didn't get in. She was just able to listen and enjoy it from the outskirts. I did not know. Apparently, our own Francesca was a pop punk teen. And so this was a really special event for her. And I guess for like everybody who rushed out to this Robinson Sheetz to catch All-American Rejects.
And also apparently a Sheetz employee, because all of Francesca's videos from this event is one very happy Sheetz employee dancing all over the parking lot, like in the blank space. I love it. I love that for them.
If you are very sad that you missed the All-American Rejects, they are going to be at PPG Paints in November, same month as Paul McCartney. That venue is just getting a lot of love. They're going to be performing with the Jonas Brothers, but I don't know. What's an All-American Rejects concert without an MTO?
You keep the made to order. I'll take the concert. That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Our music is by Benji, All the Kimonos, The Hot Rocks, Arc de Soleil, and Hip Color, with additional music from epidemicsound.com. Mallory Falk is our executive producer. Sophia Lowe and Natalie Rivera produce the show. Francesca DeBecco writes our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter, and I am your host, Megan Harris. We will be back on Monday with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend, y'all. I think my favorite thing about this is that we're still next to best place to have sex in public in Pittsburgh. Best place to cry in public, best place to have sex in public, best podcast. Coming in third
I
right
think
there.
I think this is the universe telling us we need to do episodes on each of these topics.